Hello everyone. Today we are going to get a lesson in guitars, things like that. We are at the home of the infamous JL Smooth, Joey Porter, and he's going to take us through a little narrative on each one of the guitars in his arsenal, what they're good for, and why he got it. Right now we got the infamous, one of the best guitar players I've ever known in my life, JL Smooth, Joey Porter. So, Mr. Porter, what you going to do with us today? What you going to tell us?
First thing I'm going to do is scratch my head. No, I'm just kidding. I suppose I'll grab one of these and try to do something with it. There are a lot of people out here who can do what they need to do. Play this, play that.
Yep.
But everybody's unique. Everybody's different. You know.
Yep.
Some people might consider what I can do okay. Some might consider a little bit better. We'll see what happens.
Well, tell me, all these guitars here in back of you, I know they all do something, they have little characteristics about them that are different from the others.
Well, for one...
That's what I want to know.
Okay, well, first of all, let's say this. This is my Gibson Flying V. This is was a limited edition, 1982, I believe, called the V. Flying V. This is my main gig guitar. I take this thing everywhere. We go flying, we go gigging in the near parts, local, things like that.
I noticed you got a special pickup on that. What is that about?
Actually, this is it's a controller, a GK3 controller made by Roland Company, which powers my Roland GR30 guitar synthesizer. It's a synthesizer module. It makes your guitar sound like pianos, different other kind of instruments, flutes and different things like that.
Makes it MIDI compatible?
It actually is MIDI.
Ah, okay.
MIDI.
All right.
But it's probably the most versatile and probably the one I'm using the most and not so afraid to take out. Keep my eyes on it.
Right. Understood. Now, what about the next one over here?
Well, this one is actually considerably... I don't know what word I could use for it. It's an okay guitar, and as the Gibsons go, this is a Gibson Epiphone Dot. Basically like a 335, but not the $3,000 335 or the $2,500 335. To me, it sounds just as good. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. You know, thinner sound, thicker sound, more punch. Me being from New Orleans, I like a punchy tone. If I can do the funk, I can do some rock, some jazz. This is basically for the jazz kind of thing.
Well, tell me this: how did Epiphone get away with making Les Paul?
Well, they kind of got away with that because Gibson owns Les Paul, Epiphone.
Oh,
they actually bought Epiphone.
Okay.
So they own that company.
Yeah.
There's some more that goes along with that, but that'd take too long to explain.
Right.
The first Les Pauls, if most of the guitar players out here don't know that the first Epiphone, or the first Les Pauls rather, didn't even look like Les Pauls. They looked like the SG, which stood for Standard Guitar, which was made by Gibson. Les Paul did not license Gibsons to make that guitar to put Les Paul on it, so that's why Les Paul doesn't look like an SG anymore. The Les Paul now has a totally different body style from the original, which was, like I said before, the SG, is because of the fact that Les Paul, Lester Pulmus himself, did not license Gibson to do that, so they had to take it out of production, change the name, and put the name on another guitar. So that's why that's the history of that.
Interesting. Okay.
So anyway, moving right up down the line, I suppose.
Yes. That's a nice one there.
This is the oldest guitar that I have, even though it might not look like it. This is my Alembic. This is an Alembic medium scale stereo, small body. Even though the body is small, it has 24 frets. It has a hum canceller, a standby switch. All of the fittings are solid brass. And it has an op-amp chip inside and actual drive controls on the back of the guitar. You can actually drive the sound to make it hotter, drive the pickups out to make it hotter. There's single coil type pickups, which is all my other guitars have carbon based type pickups in them. These are ceramic type, big guitarists know the difference.
I noticed there's an XLR connection on there.
That's actually not
No?
XLR. That's a 5-pin switchcraft.
Oh, my bad. I'm just assuming. Yeah. Okay.
Olympic players know what that is, especially the ones who have the stereo Olympics. This is a 5-pin switchcraft that links to the external Olympic power supply for their stereo guitars. Since this is a stereo model, then that's what that's for. Now, when you don't use not using this plug, you can use the mono plug, but it cuts off half the electronics.
Oh.
When you do that.
Okay.
The guitar uses batteries because of the op-amp chip in it. It needs that power supply.
Right, right.
External power supply. If you don't use the external power supply, then you have to have the 2 9-volt batteries in it. It has a standby switch, which means you can set the controls up the way you want it, the toggles and everything. By the way, this thing is set up, not set up like a normal guitar would be. It's instead of tone controls, instead of a bass and treble or whatever, it has low pass filters. So there's a roll off slope, like a wah-wah pedal almost. There's a roll off slope between low bass and high treble and all the stuff in between. Then you have 2 sets of 3-position EQs that really work. Now you can set all this up, set the guitar down. If you got to go on break or you're in the studio or whatever, you just switch the guitar off without touching anything. All the volumes and settings will stay the same. You can just switch it off and on. The pickup selector doubles as a standby switch.
Okay, now,
like an amplifier.
When you say that on-off switch, that's opposed to what? What would a guitar player do normally when they go on break and they want to shut it down?
Probably grab the volumes and turn them off.
Oh. Okay, and then have to reset it when you come back.
When you come back, you have to find out where you were last time.
I see.
Yeah, with this, you just turn it off. Just hit that switch and turn it over, set it on the stand, and walk off.
And walk off.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Wow.
Kind of depends.
That's a nice convenience there.
Yeah, but it's also with the sound, the way it is. This Schaller machine heads are Schaller, German-made Schaller machine heads. Those are original ones. This guitar, by the way, this is a 1977 model, which I bought brand new.
Wow.
So it's about 38 years old. Nobody ever owned this but me. And look at the finish on it. It's got a polymer finish on it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
And it's still just as nice as it was almost when I got it.
Yeah.
Most of the electronics in it soldered with gold, real gold.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the best conductor for electricity besides platinum.
Yep.
You use gold and you get better sound, but it costs. This is like I said before. This is the oldest one that I have, and it's an Olympic. Mostly they're made for the bases. The Olympic logo you see there, right at the peg head.
Yes.
Okay.
So the back is what I'm interested in.
He's interested in the back. Okay. It's got shallow machine heads. They're chrome, and for 38 years they're still chrome. They're still nice. They're not even pitted. Olympic.
Now that's what I want to see.
Olympic is kind of exclusive. There's no heel here. Most of them have a heel. Most guitars have some sort of heel in the back. This actually is just kind of rounded off. So you don't cut your hand, or you don't have anything to rest on. Really, it's just there. It's just something there. In here goes 2 batteries, 2 9-volt batteries, actually for the op-amp. There's an op-amp in here, op-amp chip. And what it does is power the active electronics built into the guitar. That's what this big plate is. There are drive controls in here, which actually drive the pickups to be hotter.
Now those are actually 4 separate little adjustments, huh?
Yeah, this is actually what they are. On the front, this piece right here is not a pickup. It's actually a hum canceller.
Ooh.
And it was originally designed to filter out noise from overhead or fluorescent light kind of fixtures. Because single coil pickups tend to pick up noise.
Yes.
And since these are ceramic and single coil, that's what it did. And the bridge is this handmade bridge, handmade by Olympic, just hand tooled. Everything is made. It's a solid brass. So is this is the famous Olympic tailpiece. Nobody has a tailpiece like this except Olympic.
That's the signature tailpiece, huh?
Olympic signature tailpiece.
And that seems to match the plates on the back.
Yeah, basically does. I mean, they're a little bit different nowadays. They're a little bit different shape nowadays.
Because that looks really industrial, old school,
yeah, basically. They're solid brass. The plates are solid brass. Some of the solid brass was actually gold plated, and then shot with some clear or thin lacquer. I did some different things, over the years. But But that's basically what it is. The two of these screws are to filter out the noise. You turn them clockwise to filter out noise from the fluorescent lights, and the other two actually drive the pickups to make them hotter or less. You want a little bit more dirty sound, a little more power output, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you can actually drive the pickups up. The screwdriver may actually drive the pickups up.
Wow, see, those are the special little things you get with Olympic that you don't get everywhere.
That's some of the things you get. I mean, they were ahead of a lot of people. This plug here, people probably thought it was maybe an XLR, like for a microphone plug, but it's actually a 5-pin switchcraft plug for the external Olympic power plug. I think I might have said that before, mentioned it before.
Yeah.
But that's what it's before. This 1/4-inch jack plug is mono, but if you plug any set of headphones in it with a 1/4-inch jack plug, you can turn it on and listen.
And you can hear it.
With nothing else. All you have to do is turn the guitar on. You get both sides of the electronics with any old set of cheap headphones. Just plug it in.
Wow.
Turn it on.
Perfect for practicing.
Yeah, perfect. If that's all you want to do.
Late at night.
It's late at night, and that's fine. There's other apparatus that you can do that with now. But then, when this was being done, there was no such thing.
There was no such thing.
We're talking 1977.
Yeah,
so That's when this was done. The only thing that I replaced, really replaced, was this switch. The switch cover, not the switch itself, but the cover. It's a standby and a pickup selector is what it is. Neck pickup, bridge pickup, and just plain old off.
Off, yeah.
Just plain old off.
That's the one you talked about earlier that makes it convenient.
That's right.
When you go on break.
And there's another weird thing about it, is the fact that most fretboards favored, or most high-end instruments, probably guitars, probably would be either ebony or rosewood for a fretboard. This one is actually Purple Heart, which you don't see. Purple Heart is like a reddish, dark reddish, purplish kind of a color. Purple Heart, and that's what this is. And instead of plastic, they use real mother of pearl.
Yes.
They used the real deal on here. Everything they spared nothing. There's no expense was spared in making the thing quality. It's never had to be worked on. It never had to done anything to it. Really, really special. It's been. I did the whole Funk and Roll album with Family Players Band, which is my old group. It was 1982, I believe, was MCA Records. I Love Funk and Roll on MCA Records. It was done with this guitar. The entire album was done with this guitar, and it fared out. So I had no problems with it. This is the only thing I use on that particular album. But so far, the rest of the years, it's traveled. It's well traveled. It's been all over the place. This guitar has been on stage with a lot of the major R&B groups from the 70s all the way up to the 80s. Groups like Function and Chic and Mother's Finest and Roy Ayers and Bohannon's band, and some of you might remember them. Even Roger Troutman and Zap. Barcades.
The list goes on and on. It kind
of goes on. We did things with everybody. Family Players was a group that almost went national. We have associations and affiliations with all kinds of people all over the place. But me, I was the renegade and left and moved out to California.
I can see that.
I just split.
All right.
But that's it. That's about the stories behind this. And I call this the Lollipop. The nickname is the Lollipop.
Oh, okay. All right. The Lollipop. Because you sent... I got those names. I'm going to use them. All right, sir. Well, we thank you very much for your additional insight.
Okay, and I'll say this in my British accent.
You're bloody well quite welcome, and I'm going to see you next time. Jolly good. Have a nice evening. Goodbye. Of course.
This thing here is no longer made. Oh, that one's no longer made either, by the way. But I seem to get stuff that that people either quit making or it's hard to find. This is a Martin Sigma. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's from the 90s, late 90s. So it's a Martin Sigma. This is a TB model, electric acoustic.
Yeah, let me see those controls there. So that you can, what can you do with that? What control? Is that an EQ?
It was basically EQs and volume, both. You have a bass, a treble. You even have a middle control. You have a treble control and a presence with the EQ. They're making a lot of stuff like this now. But this particular one is not made anymore. I really like it because, you know, like I said, it's Martin Sigma made it, and it's got a really good sound, to tell you the truth. I mean, to say it's not super expensive, anything like that, the sound is just great. It's like a, nice guitar.
Yeah, has a nice sound to it.
To say it's an acoustic, it's just really good. I mean, if I had an amp right now, we don't have time for that. I would plug it up and give you a demonstration tonal wise. But it's pretty good. I mean, I'm very satisfied with it. You know, it's something that I got from a friend. Actually, a friend of mine who owns a music store sold this one to me.
Yeah, it's a nice piece, man. Beautiful coloring.
Nice color, nice everything. It's very built very well. I like it because I like the fact that there's a cutaway, so I can get all the way to the last fret.
Yeah.
And the frets are all playable.
Yeah.
There's no buzz or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it can be compared probably to something much more expensive than the initial or actual cost when I first bought it. I just kind of keep all that stuff under my hat. But
yeah,
I think people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they know, especially those that play.
The ones that play, they can look at this type of thing and say, okay, well, yeah, that's cool.
You could see the workmanship and the quality all the way up and down. Look at how it shines in the sun. It's a beautiful piece.
And all of these guitars have the original finishes. Nothing's been refinished.
Yeah.
They get waxed, polished, everything. You have to plan, because if you don't, they sort of go to sleep.
Oh, really? Oh, they go out of tune too, huh?
They sort of go to sleep. They don't play well when you leave them sitting around for too long, too many weeks.
Yeah.
So I try to keep them all played. I'm down to just these few now. I was up to about 14 guitars at one time.
Wow.
But I stopped collecting them, and I only want to keep what I want to play now.
Yeah.
So since I'm playing these, then I'm just playing them all the time.
Now, I've never seen you out with any of these except for the V.
Except for the V. Well, like I said, the V is my main work guitar. I do play in church too. And as opposed to playing funk and jazz and blues and R&B and some fusion and different things like that, I use certain ones for certain things. So some places they never get to see. They only get to see certain jobs.
Yeah. The Gibson The V. This is the one that I see Joey doing damage with every time I see him out there playing. This thing right here.
This is kind of a favorite of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I hear
this is what makes guitar players hate you. This guitar right here.
Nah, it's
it's what you do with it.
I like this guitar. This guitar came out of Washington. I bought it around 89 or so.
Dang. Yeah.
Around 89 or so. Came out of Washington.
That's beautiful.
I like it because it's got a sunburst finish. I never see any V's with a sunburst finish on it, and I never see any with binding on it ever at all. I added the pickup. I actually have two of these. I have a GK2 and a GK3.
The difference being? The
difference being one is an updated version of the other one.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, and these are what is known to Gibson as 30 fingers humbucking pickups. Double coil, 30 fingers humbucking pickups. And they live up to that. They really live up to their 30 fingers, because they can get a nice clean sound, but when it's time to rock out, you can get pretty versatile. I mean, it's just really good. You can get a nice chunky tone out of it, but you can get a good resonance too. And a lot of sustain and everything.
So you got one more down here.
Oh, one more. Okay, well, there's one more.
That is
a bass. People rarely ever see me playing a bass.
Yeah.
I was a bass player in school, playing the upright bass in the orchestra.
Okay.
But the basses, I didn't want to ever buy a real expensive bass because I'm not a real bass player. But I can play bass. I mean, when it comes time to do that kind of thing, you can. I don't know if you can hear this or not.
I hear enough.
Amplifier. So.
I hear enough. And what is this?
This is a Sound Gear SR305. It's kind of the
Alright, let me see.
mid-range price.
Sound Gear.
Sound Gear.
Okay.
It's actually made by the Ibanez company.
Ibanez, yeah.
Yeah. This is an SR305 5-string.
That's a nice looking guitar there. The black body. It's nice and shined up. Let me see. What do you have? Do you have anything special on this one?
Nothing special except for this one has active electronics in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be run by a 9-volt battery too because of the active electronics.
Okay.
Just about everything I got here is a little bit off the wall.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes you do what you do. What do you like about this guitar?
I like it because the neck is nice and flat. I have kind of big hands, and I can get my fingers around here, but I don't have to struggle and fight to play. See, it's a bit thin here.
Okay.
It's sort of like some of the Fender basses, but it's light. It doesn't have that weight, but it has the tone. The cutaway is enough so I can play all the way to the last fret. And again, I like the guitars that have no buzz. The intonation is always good. Usually I have to do that myself when I get them to make them to the way I like to play. But this one I really didn't have to do too much to. Actually, I fell on some hard times a while back. A couple of years back, and I had bought one of these and had to sell it. And what happened when I saw one up for sale, I had to travel some miles to get it, but it turned out being the same model, but an updated version. How you like that? This one had a better finish on it. This is Metal Flake, sparkle black finish on it. Whereas my other one was flat back, but it was glossy, and it didn't have an extra pot for the EQs in the onboard active electronics. So I wound up with a better deal the second time around.
Sure did. Sure did.
And the playability is exactly the same as the old one was, the one that I had before. It feels the same. I think these are kind of underrated. You know, for the money they cost, they really are underrated. Because it's a well-made instrument. You know, for the money that it costs, it's not really expensive. You know, but it's just very good. You know, it's a good. Good. It's just a really good bass. It's put together pretty well, and I like it. I mean, for my purposes, it's something that I could use in the studio. Like I say, I'm not a real bass player per se for myself. Some people say, okay, you can do that if you wanted to, but I wouldn't do it. So I do things like this use this for the studio, for recording, for doing tracks on my own projects, because I actually owned the recording studio for about 10 years. So I had after I shut it down, I kept all the gear. So I can
smart move.
Yeah, I kept just about everything.
Yeah.
Different keyboards and everything like that. But this is it. This is what I use right now. This is the bulk of my little arsenal.
But it's an effective arsenal, I would say.
Yeah, it's workable. Everything here is quite workable.
Yeah, you've got something for every occasion, I would say. Every occasion.
The only thing at this point I think I might be missing is I need to add. There's one more I want to add. I'm not going to say what it is because somebody might go out and buy one, and then I might not have that monopoly anymore. But there's a certain another jazz box that I got that's not a thin one like this. It's a full-size hollow body with a single cutaway. That's the only thing that's missing here. When I get that one, I'm done.
That was my next question. What do you want to get? But you answered it already. So I would like to thank you for your time and your extreme knowledge on your instrument and the education that I got just listening to you. And we will catch up with you later.
Adios.
Ladies and gentlemen, JL Smooth, doing what he does best. Yes.